Hi Horizon, this is Mrs. Saylor. Thank you for having me in class today. I'm excited to share with you the elements of art. Sometimes they're called the ABCs of art. If you've had opportunity to be in art club or have had a teacher share with you the elements of art, then you might know these. But even if you haven't, I bet with your great teachers here at Horizon or your parents or somebody else that you absolutely know these ABCs of art, at least most of them. I'm going to quickly go through them with you. And the reason for that is that these are great tools for you to use when you're creating a project in any way, shape, or form, whether it's artistic or creative or innovative, robotic, scientific. These are all great tools to have to help your brain think about things that you want to visually explain to somebody else. Line is the first element of design. It can be short. It can connect 2 points. It can be long. It can be short. It can go up and down, left and right, and be perpendicular, or it can be parallel. Line can show direction. It can go squiggly like a river. It can go straight, hopefully like a street. Lines can show sound, being very light to very loud. It can show frequency, being very heavy to very soft. Lines can be spiral. They can be thin or thick. You can have thick lines next to each other, next to thin lines. They can make a thin line and then go thin, or a thick line and then go thin. And then here is just a straight line with dots next to it. And that shows some texture that we'll talk about down below. Lines tell us a lot. A lot of times when we aren't sure what to do, we take out our pencil and we begin drawing lines. We sketch. The next element is shape and form. And I'm pretty sure that you guys are very familiar with these also. We have geometric shapes: circle, square, triangle, rectangle, oval, and semicircle. And I bet you're aware of many different organic shapes like a heart or a moon or a cloud or a leaf. And there's a free-form shape. Oh, don't know what this is, but it looks like maybe a superhero POW icon. But it's a free-form shape. 3D form. These are forms, which is kind of a little bit different than shape. It's a 3D effect. What is 3D? Well, the best way to, I think, to describe 3D, which is three-dimensional, is with a cube. Everybody learns area, but before you learn area, you have line. A line you have to draw before you can draw a square. You have to draw a line, right? And that's one-dimensional. Then you go to the square or other shapes, but you have to draw one line and another, so you have width and length, and that becomes two-dimensional or 2D because they go left and right and up and down, just like this, perpendicular. It's 2D. Then when you get to 3D or cube or capacity, it gets a little more interesting. You have height, which is the third one. So you have the square at the bottom, and then all of a sudden we decide to go up like a building, and there's height, and that's three-dimensional. And we have color, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Primary colors: red, yellow, blue. They make up every color you can possibly think of. Secondary: orange, green, and purple. Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green, blue and red make purple. They can show warmth, they can show cool. Texture is an element of design. It can show the look and feel of an object. This might not be something you've drawn before, but you can tell by the drawings here that it's describing something or communicating visually something to each of you looking at the drawing. A bubble can be smooth and shiny. Rough or jagged sandpaper might be described this way in a drawing. Bricks can show something that's hard. You can draw this and it shows that this is probably a wall or something hard. This is something soft, very light sketch. Or sandy with a lot of dots. Space and size is something else to consider in the elements, and it helps the looker or the reader of your visual communication to focus. Do you want a small image in the paper Or do you want a big image in the paper? When you have a drawing of stars, do you want a big amount of space in between them? These stars are spaced far from this one. Or do you want them tight together? And then you have perspective. This is a little bit more advanced technique of the elements of design, but it helps the viewer focus in on the picture. Back here is far away and this is closer. Perspective helps the eye with direction. And you can have first perspective, you can have multiple perspectives. We're going to touch on that today. Value. Value shows shading. Shading, you can do crosshatch, you can do straight lines, or you can do dots. The trick is, whatever you do, when you have a dark spot, you fill it in more, and then all of a sudden you see less dots. It's the same with this jar. The light and the dark that you use helps to show where the light is shining from into the picture, or for the viewer that you want to highlight for them to focus on. So in here you see shading, and you have a jar, and you can see the light's probably coming here because this is the shadow. This is a symbol that also shows what contrast is. If you put black right next to white, then it really contrasts them sharply, and it kind of is like, wow. And you may see that a lot when you look at hero icons. Well, anyway, I hope this is exciting for you guys today, and I hope these are fun tools for the project we have. And you can use this every day and every time you're trying to think of what you want to do. And I hope this will be fun.